Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my page. Today, I wanted to do something interesting. I wanted to pull deepest desires, core issues, and action from your person, but I'm being called to pull from two energies. So it might be that some of you are deciding between two people, or you have two people in your life that are potential for love. Could also be two situations, two work situations. So feel free to play around with the energy however you want. But when I was lighting my sage earlier, something really interesting happened and it kind of caught me off guard. So I went to light a match and I went to light my sage, and the matchstick flame kind of separated in two. And I thought, wow, that's weird because that's never happened to me. And it ended up going out, and I lit another match, and the same exact thing happened. So the flame from like the end where that little like powder is separated off, and the other flame started to kind of like burn through the stick. So it could be that some of you are karmically linked or have a cord that's connected to someone in your life, and it might be time for a cord cutting ritual or something along those lines. But I just thought that was an interesting thing to see, and so I thought it would be good to say. Also, if there are two energies in your life in terms of love or career, it could be that you are trying to go in another direction, but you're tethered to one of these people. So to start, what do I want to start with? Let's get, I don't think I'm going to use Oracle today. I think I'm just going to use Tarot. But let's get the energy from person number one. So think about person number one, or thing number one, career number one, path number one. And we are going to pull a core for the energy, and then deepest desires, action that this person or thing might be taking, and advice from spirit. So person one. Okay, so this is the core of the issue. This is deepest desires. Action that this person might be taking or is taking, and advice from spirit. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have 5 of Pentacles. So somebody or something might be feeling out in the cold. Core of the issue, we have 3 of Wands. Deepest desires, High Priestess, and Strength. Wow, 2 major arcana cards there. Action, Ace of Cups in reverse, and advice, 7 of Pentacles. So I'm feeling like if somebody is out in the cold, because we have this hidden energy here on the bottom of the deck, if somebody's feeling like they're out in the cold, in this deck, this is the Thoth deck, there's worry here. So somebody could be worried that you are moving on, that you are no longer interested in this connection. This is for my 18 plus readers. This represents a body part, and if you can see, it's kind of like blocked off. So they might be feeling like you cut them off physically, passionately, etc., etc. I used to work with a woman that used to say the P holds the power, and so I'm kind of resonating with that energy right now. You also have lust here. In deepest desires. So this person is definitely craving or wanting access to your body. But with this core of 3 of Wands, there is an element of waiting. So they are waiting for you to come in, and they're hoping that you do, whether it is, I don't know, maybe a booty call or something along those lines. They're waiting for you to approach them about this situation. The High Priestess here is very mysterious. She is very intuitive and she's very powerful. So if you can see in this card, she is kind of sitting on a throne. And there's all of this kind of like grid-like energy here. And then at the bottom of the card, there is a lot of abundance, right? There's a lot of gems, there's flowers, there's grapes, which signify abundance. And so this person sees your power. They see your strength. This Lust card here is traditionally the strength card in the Rider-Waite deck. So this person is definitely seeing your power and waiting and hoping that you come towards them. The Ace of Cups in reverse as action. This person might be crying over you, or they might have so much emotional energy that they don't know what to do with it. So they could be making this about the physical, but there's something deeper here. And advice from tarot is Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles traditionally is about planting seeds and waiting for them to grow. I think the advice to you, not for them, right? Because this is their deepest desires in action, but this is going to be advice to you, is to, I just heard like something about soil and fertility, and like, are you planting seeds where they have room to grow? Or are you planting seeds in an environment where you'll be root bound? Wow. That's your advice to you. So really consider, like, there's a lot of sexual and charged energy here. There's a lot of passion here, but there's a lack or an emotional imbalance. Even though this person might be sad or crying or feeling like their cup is like so full, they don't know what to do with it. I just heard something else. This is a very sexual reading. If you see this kind of streak here, this is somebody who needs release, and they might be using sex or passion or physical to get that release and kind of clear their head, which is unhealthy, right? There's nothing that's going to grow from that. It's really just kind of, if you're in separation with your person, they might be seeking empty situations. They might be tending to themselves a lot, but really what they want is they want you, at least physically. I do want to get a couple more cards, just to kind of see if this is really just physical connection. If you hear any whining, that is Lupe. He's wanting to play right now. Okay, so if you're feeling like, yeah, you've definitely cut this person off in some way, you've put a halt to what's going on. It could be that you felt like this situation was purely physical and didn't have any sort of like deeper emotional connection. There's a lot of inner conflict here, and this person just wants to go back to the way it was. They want to go back to that like sexy kind of minxy energy that you displayed. But for you, it's no longer kind of worth it, if you will. And there's a lot of disappointment over these cups spilling out, right? I think that you decided to go in a direction of tending to yourself, right? If you see this kind of Seven of Pentacles, you may have realized that there's no abundant future with this person. And so you are choosing to become the Queen of Pentacles or Queen of Discs in this deck. She's kind of enveloped in this leafy plant. She's very strong. You see the horns, so she's very powerful. She's very secure in herself. And in the traditional deck, she's sometimes pregnant. But the sphere here is kind of about creation in a way that's very rooted, very grounded, and that's what you're looking for. Let's get a little bit more on this action. I talked about how they might be crying or they might need a release, but we haven't really talked about the action that this person is taking towards you. Luxury. So in the traditional deck, this is the Four of Cups, and it's somebody sitting by a tree and kind of wallowing and wishing that they could find answers or wishing for like a sudden burst of inspiration. But what they're not seeing is there's a cup being held out behind them by God. But in this deck, it's luxury. And it seems like this person might be coming towards you with something to offer, but this Seven of Pentacles is a little weary, right? This might be instant gratification. Again, the cup is overflowing. So if they're coming at you, you need to be discerning in a way that's like, is this physical? Or are you actually wishing to provide something grounded or offer something grounded? One more, Spirit, make this pretty clear. A lot of cups here. Luxury and pleasure. They might ask to take you on a vacation. Yeah, okay, so they're going to be coming in with an offer to travel together or do something that both of you enjoy or have enjoyed in the past outside of this sexual energy. And there is some emotional currency to this. So it could be that pulling back your energy or withholding and really stepping into this like high priestess energy has had them see a different side of you, and one that maybe says there might be a little bit more to this connection than just physical. So I think the message and advice for you here is to stay rooted and grounded in your energy and your wants and needs, and be weary of planting your seeds somewhere that won't grow or be fruitful, right? So just making sure that you are paying attention to the red flags, really kind of detaching from those rose-colored glasses and seeing this for what it actually is by paying attention to the actions and what this person displays, okay? We do have the Tower in reverse on the bottom of the deck. I just heard trust your intuition. I'm not getting like this is usually like a sudden change, but it's reverse, and I'm not really getting that kind of like intense, sudden blowing up of everything energy. I'm getting more of like a trust your intuition with this eye here and seeing everything for what it is, right? I'm also hearing pay attention to your feelings. So if this person reaching out stirs up any sort of anxiety or any sort of like past trauma or PTSD, like pay attention to that feeling and use this in your discernment, right? Sometimes we can confuse like butterflies and that like kind of fleeting feeling for like love or connection, but a lot of times it can be also a warning or anxiety hidden as chemistry. So I'm going to leave this here. Next, we're going to pull for person number 2. So if you are deciding between 2 people, we'll get their energy. And then third, I'm going to pull your energy. So make sure you stick around so you can see what energies you're resonating with. Okay, let's pull for person number 2. I'm going to use the traditional Rider-Waite deck here, and we will get the energy from person number 2. If there's only one person and you're not choosing between 2 people, feel free to skip to your energy, which will be the third part of this reading. I'll put timestamps below so that you can skip ahead. So let's see what's going on with person number 2. Oof. So we're going to get the core energy of this person. We're going to get their deepest desires, and then we're going to get any action they would take, and advice from Spirit. A lot of cards coming out here. Wow, okay. This person might want, I mean, it's pretty obvious here with the Ace of Wands, but they want to come forward pretty intently. A lot of push and pull energy here. So this person is kind of suspended, right? We have the hangman, and that's the hanged man. I always say it wrong. And that's the core of the situation. So this person might be in limbo. You guys might be in limbo. There might be no communication or kind of a waiting period. But the deepest desires here are pretty interesting because we have the Ace of Wands followed by the Eight of Wands in reverse. So a lot of passion, right? A renewed sense of passion, but it's almost like they are blocking themselves from feeling this passion, right? They see you as this like exciting new beginning, and they want this new beginning, but they are stopping themselves from pursuing it or communicating it to you. This can be a card about communication. And so this person, sorry, the sun is like beaming in really hard, so you can probably see my shadow. Excuse me. But so the deepest desires here are to come forward towards you, but stopping themselves, right? They really want this new beginning, but something is blocking them, and we'll get a clarification card on that in a second. The action that they want to take, again, is no action. So it could be that they want to show up, but they're physically not capable. So they're not sitting in their masculine energy. They're not pursuing. And advice for you as well is to do nothing, right? To kind of pursue balance, stay grounded, and honestly, like not pay attention. I almost feel like you need to like, this person is kind of closing themselves off from a situation. They have two swords. Sometimes it can be a decision to make, but I feel like you are kind of sitting here with them and you're doing the right thing by not taking any action. Let's get clarification on this Nine of Wands or Eight of Wands. We have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse for clarification, and I want to get one more. Okay. So some of you might be in another relationship. The Nine of Pentacles upright is usually an independent or single person that has their shit together. But reverse for me, this can be somebody who's not available, right? So it could be that you are in another relationship, and so this person feels like they can't come forward. This Justice in reverse sounds like it could be a divorce. It could be that some of you guys are potentially going through a divorce and this person wants to come forward, but they need to wait until you figure out your situation. And it could also be that you've disconnected from this person and chosen to focus on yourself because being in this situation has brought imbalance, right? So justice can be about fairness. And so something isn't fair. If we think about this in a desires sense of their deepest desires, it could be that they want to pursue you, right? They want this passionate new beginning with you, but they're blocking themselves because maybe they feel like you're not at a point in your own life of being this Nine of Pentacles upright. So they're seeing you as blocked, but they're also feeling like it's not fair, right? Like it's not fair. Why can't this person just be the person that shows up for themselves, that is secure in themselves, and then I can move forward? So if you guys are taking time apart, they want you to focus on yourself during this time, focus on the things that make you feel good, make you feel independent, powerful, all of that. But there is this sense of unfairness in terms of readiness. Yeah. Let's see what this Ace of Wands is. I want to get just a little bit more on this Ace of Wands. Yeah, they're waiting for you to tend to your own garden. It's like, I want to come forward. I want a passionate new beginning with this person, but they need to do some growing. Perhaps your person needs to do some growing. And so even though they want this so badly, there is a block here. Okay. So the Hanged Man is this kind of suspended, limboed energy. And with the moon in reverse, it could be that you guys are both taking time away from each other to focus on the truth of the situation. It could be, I keep saying it could be, but it feels like there was a lot of disillusionment in this relationship. It could be that both of you guys showed up with a fantasy of love, with how you think things should be, right? This Emperor in reverse can sometimes be very rigid, and kind of tunnel vision or single focus. So it could be that this rigidness has created a false sense of fantasy in this relationship, and both of you guys taking time apart, or this kind of limbo situation. I'm seeing this little hidden or like sun-like energy behind this person's head, and then when the moon is reversed, it could be illumination, right? So the truth is coming out. So in this person's separation, or in this like limbo, they are learning the truth. It could be the truth about your relationship, it could be a truth about themselves, but things are becoming more clear, and they're not disillusioned anymore, or they're becoming clearer and receiving clarity around the situation. Okay, so this Emperor in reverse is not showing up in alignment with their divine masculine, right? Like they're not showing up authentically in a way that is rooted and grounded. It could be there's a coming back to you, but they're still in this rigid energy. So it's still kind of, I feel like there might have been an expectation on you to become this version of yourself. They're seeing your potential, and they're kind of pushing you towards that in this really kind of rigid way, the way that they see you and see your potential, not in a way that accepts you authentically. And so if they're coming back, sorry for the scratching, that's Lupe again. But if they're coming back, and actually there might be some, they might be clawing at you, right? Wanting to come back to you and grow, but they haven't let go of this idea of you and allowing you to show up authentically. Okay. It's almost like an unfair expectation is the only way they'll come back. Like if she can become, or they can become this version of themselves, then I want them back. Advice from Spirit. So we have this kind of lingering energy of, if you've chosen to kind of stay suspended or allow them this space, you're in a position of kind of letting it go. So I see you kind of like, okay, you know, if you're not going to make a decision, or if you're not going to show up, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit here, and I'm going to remain calm and poised. And it's giving you an opportunity to also kind of see this disillusionment within this other person, right? Like, I was so defensive before. I felt like I had to prove my worth. I felt like I had to really kind of fight for myself in this relationship, for this other person to see me, right? That's what this Nine of Wands upright. But when it's reversed, it's kind of like, I'm letting this go. If this person can't see me for who I really am and accept it, then I have to let it go. And this is in the advice space. So it could be that not only are you starting to see it, but Spirit is telling you this person can't meet you in authenticity and see you for this like upright Nine of Pentacles. That's on them. That's on them. Oh, I just heard let them. You know, who's that therapist? I can't remember her name, but drop it in the comments if you know who I'm talking about. That therapist that has that let them theory. Okay, so there is a lot of disappointment and sadness. We have the Nine of Cups in, or not the nine, the Five of Cups upright. So this person is paying attention to the spilled cups. It's interesting that I thought or had a Freudian slip for the Nine of Cups, because the Nine of Cups is about dreams fulfilled. So it could be that there was really high hopes for this situation, and you feel like your wish is no longer, right? And then I don't know if you can see them, but over here we have, let me just move all of this over. we have the Page of Swords, the Star in reverse, and the Six of Cups in reverse. So this person, if you see, this person is looking at this Two of Swords. So they might be confused by your energy, right? This person might have thought, okay, I'm going to step away. I want this person to work on themselves, and thought that you would chase them. I'm sorry, guys, my storage is full. I need a new phone. But so they thought that you would chase them. They thought that you would come forward. You would continue to prove yourself, right? This Nine of Wands, defend yourself in this relationship, and you haven't. And so for that, they're kind of watching you. Instead of healing, instead of getting to the root of what they need to do in terms of becoming and showing up for you, they are focusing on you, and they're worried that you are going to heal and leave them behind. So there's a lot of disappointment here. There's a lot of potential regret in this situation around taking you for granted and wanting you to become or be this person that is perfect in their mind. And for a long time, you defended yourself and tried to prove yourself, and now you're not anymore. You're just kind of like, all right, do your thing. You need to figure your shit out. I'm going to show up authentically. I'm going to be myself. And if you can't see that, then I'm going to protect my peace, right? And there's a lot of things stirring up in them. I think the underlying issue is, can they heal to meet you? There is a karmic thread here. So this person could be someone from a past life, and you guys are meant to learn from each other, but learning is a choice, right? You can choose to stay stuck in this energy, or you can choose to grow and elevate. And so that's really what this person needs to decide. It's the truth that they're trying to see here is, am I ready? Am I ready to step into this better part of me, this more free-flowing and accepting part of me, rather than this person who's rigid, rather than this person who has a lot of passion for you but wants you to be something that maybe you're not, or maybe their perfect image of a partner. All right, let's get one more, and then I have to clean out my phone, and then I will pull for your energy. Let's get one more kind of closure card for this. Okay, rest. Okay, so if you're feeling weak, or your person's feeling weak, yeah, so rest after separation. So take this time to rest. You need to heal from the rejection of it all. If this person walked away from you, that's what you're doing. You're regaining your strength. You are maybe sleeping a lot, but there is healing here. I think you are healing. This person might be healing too. If things were said that were really hurtful, you guys are both kind of coming out of it. So I think this is good. Take your time. Allow this person to rise to the occasion, or not at all. And that's what you're doing. So good on you. All right, I'm going to leave this here, and I will circle back with your energy, your deepest desires, the core of where you're at, and your action and advice from spirit. All right. Last but not least, let's tune into your energy, your wants, your desires, and your action. I grabbed a fan because, sorry, just trying to get this level so you guys can see all the cards. I'm boiling in here. It's 90 degrees in Michigan, so it is hot. But Let's see. So for this one, I'm going to use Tarot of the Divine. I haven't pulled from this deck in a long time, but let's see the core of your energy, your deepest desires, the action that you're taking, and advice from Spirit. Okay, so be the core, your deepest desires, action that you're taking, and advice. Feels not straight, but it is what it is. Okay. This is hilarious because I did a personal reading for myself earlier and these two cards showed up. Okay. So your energy here is the Three of Cups in reverse. Upright, we have these three feminine figures kind of dancing and celebrating. So traditionally this card is a card of celebration, but in the reverse, it could be that you haven't had that in a while. You could be missing your friends. You could be feeling a little bit lonely in a sense. Your deepest desires here are the Two of Wands. So this energy is interesting because it could feel like you don't know what you want. This card gives me Gemini energy. You see two faces, you see a wand, and you see kind of a different style of wand. So it could be that you are trying to step forward, but you're a little bit torn with which direction you want to go in. But the nice thing here is regardless, you are stepping forward. So even in this uncertainty, you are wanting to step forward and move forward in your life. But this Fool in reverse here is, I love this energy because it's kind of upright, this mermaid looking towards this castle, but the castle is kind of hidden. And so it's this energy of wanting a new beginning, but not being able to see it yet, right? So reversed, especially with the Two of Wands here, it's like, I want to move forward, I want a fresh start, but I'm not really sure what that looks like, right? For action, we have the Page of Coins. So you could be stepping into nature. You could be planning some sort of vacation. Lupine, this is pretty unique to me because I've been resonating with lupine, which is a flower, this entire spring and into summer. I planted some in my garden, but the funny thing is they didn't bloom. So you could be learning something new. You could be practicing something. It could be something as simple as gardening or something that you want to bring forward, something that you want tangibility in. There's also a sense of innocence with these two, like, what are they, moose? Or like mountain goats? I'm not really sure what type of animal that is. But it's almost like you are tapping into yourself and learning what you really want. So, you know, especially with this kind of indecision or uncertainty about moving forward, you are taking time to understand and really see what energy and manifestation you want to bring forth into the 3D. And your advice from Spirit is the Six of Cups. And so this could be healing inner child wounds. This could be taking a look at nostalgia, taking stock of what you've been through in the past, and nurturing your inner child here. So that's your advice from Spirit. So this is an opportunity for you to take stock of the lessons, learn the lessons, which will guide you towards what you want and need in the 3D. All right, let's clarify. Empress in reverse. This card is really interesting because it's like the Mother Mary. We have 2 3s here. So the number 3 might be significant for some of you. You're not feeling like yourself lately. You haven't been feeling like yourself in a while. So if there is some depression or some grief going on, you're finally in a position now to work with that energy and heal. All right, let's clarify these energies. You're coming into a time of clarity. So if there's been a lot of confusion, a lot of darkness, a lot of fog, you are trying to step into clarity. And clarity is coming, okay? So you are this Empress. The energy is deep within you. Nobody can take that from you. It's about finding that again. The 2 of coins in reverse, it's like funny because we have a lot of like 3s, 3s, 2s, 2s, another 3 here. This energy of the 2 of coins reverse has a lot to do with like juggling. You see she has like a baby bear, she has or a bear cub, she has a child, and she's kind of like standing on one leg. So you're trying to balance everything out. You're trying to kind of settle in order to receive this clarity about direction that you want to go in. The 3 of coins, sorry, I'm reading slow because I'm trying to pay attention to the imagery of the deck. A lot of times I'll just like go into the traditional meanings and use that, but the imagery on these cards are so visual, so intense. There's so much happening in every card, so I'm wanting to kind of get the energy from these versus going to my traditional knowledge, which is funny because we have the Page of Coins and it's about learning, right? So with this energy, this person is kind of, they have their eyes shut. There are 2 beings that are a little bit scary above, but this person is not paying any attention to them. They're just kind of like beating to their own drum. And so reverse, it could be that you are, a lot of this kind of stagnancy and a lot of this uncertainty could be coming from outside influences of what you feel like is the right thing to do. And that's causing a lot of confusion because we have this 7 of Cups in reverse on the underside of the deck, which is, can be confusion. But for me, when it's reversed, it's about finding clarity. So this opportunity for learning is to figure out what it is that is true to you, true to your Empress energy. And instead of following the advice of others, this is going to be a time where you seek your own clarity and you're finding your own true north, okay? Justice. So the Page of Coins and Justice, again, this feels very much like finding your center, finding your balance. We have the sword here, and there's also a medal here. So it feels like in this deck, this person is really standing their ground. They're on their mark, they're protecting their temple, and they're finding balance within. And then we have the Queen of Wands in reverse. So this energy aligns with the Empress in reverse. So upright, right? You are this kind of hula girl, I just heard, but you're trying to find her right now. You're trying to find clarity in who you are. You're transforming into someone else, something else. And it feels very murky because you might be holding on to this other part of you. But it's time to let them go and step into this new reborn version of yourself. What are we letting go of? so many threes, you guys. We've got threes, we've got sevens, a lot of twos. So a cycle is coming to completion. Wow, okay, this card is very telling, this underside of the deck. It's almost like growing through the pain, learning through the pain. You see this kind of scary skull here, but flowers are still blooming. There's still fruit on this. So it's been a heavy burden to bear what you've been through and what you've going through. If this is past trauma or trauma from a situation, there is still beauty to come of this. With the Seven of Coins in reverse, there's duality here. Kind of another Gemini situation. So this is about letting go of who you've been and becoming who you're meant to be. Especially with that Sun in reverse. Seeing the truth of yourself, shining in your light, and you're climbing to get there, right? You are trying to find this piece of you, this part of you that is no longer in the safety of comfort, right? So stepping out of your comfort zone. And it's really kind of daunting, isn't it? To step away from familiarity, from comfortability, and step into the unknown. But there is definitely an unfolding here. It's funny, I pulled the Nine of Coins in reverse before in my other, I think in my person 2 reading. Okay, so self-doubt. So if you were in a situation or a relationship or a work situation where people were trying to make you someone you're not, this has caused a lot of self-doubt, a lot of lack of clarity, but you're finding your inner strength here. You're working towards this type of self-confidence, self-trust, self-worth. And that can be scary because in setting boundaries, right, and not allowing people to change you or try to make you into something that you're not, sometimes you lose people. Sometimes you have to walk away from situations that no longer serve you. And sometimes it can be easy to stay in those situations because they're comfortable. They feel easy. But the truth of the matter is even if it's easy on the outside, there's turmoil within, right? When we're not living our truth, other things will manifest in ways that are toxic. And not necessarily toxic, but like things might not be going as planned because you're out of alignment, right? You're trying to sit in an energy that's not authentic, and that attracts people and situations that are not authentic. And so if you're wondering why you're not happy or why you're struggling in this situation, it's because you need to figure out who you are at your core. And you're doing this, but it's scary because in the past you've had a lot of people bring self-doubt, bring, a sense of insecurity. And right now it's up to you to find that sense of security within yourself. And we have Jupiter in Cancer right now, which is a time of emotional healing, emotional expansion, and really an opportunity to come home to yourself. And so it feels like you're doing this, but it feels like the road is going to be long. It's going to be a long road ahead. But if you can get there, if you can sit in your authenticity, oh my goodness, beat to the beat of your own drum. All right, I got caught off again, but I'm back, and a couple of cards flew out, right, in a result of your ability to kind of beat to the tune of your own drum. I don't know how that saying goes. I'm going to have to look it up